Good evening, my lovely nurses. I hope you are fine and your family is good. So, today we will discuss the multiple questions on the topic safe and effective care environment, the management of care. So, our first question is the nurse is delegating tasks to an unlicensed assistive personnel. Which client tasks should the nurse delegate to the UAP? UAP mean the unlicensed assistive personnel, the nurse who don't have the license. Number a client whose IV infiltrated and needs replacing. Number B, a client on BiPAP who needs arterial blood gases drawn. Number C, a client with mild dementia who needs assistance with her food tray. A client who needs a wet to dry dressing on an abdominal incision. So we will check one by one. The number A is a client whose IV infiltrated and needs replacing. So keep in your mind the assessing the IV site and inserting an IV is beyond the scope of practice for a UAP. The unlicensed assistive personnel cannot replace the IV line. That is only the licensed nurse can do this one. So A is incorrect. Number B, a client on BiPAP who needs arterial blood gases drawn. So for the ABGs, the arterial blood gas sample only can take licensed nurse or the registered nurse. The UAP cannot do this one. This practice, that is no this. We cannot delegate this task to the UAP. Number C, so B is also incorrect. Number C, a client with mild dementia who need assistance with her food tray. Yes, this one we can, this practice the UAP can do. This task we can delegate to the UAP because this is only the assisting the client with the meal tray. This is the scope of practice for the unlicensed assistive personnel. So C is the correct option. Number D, a client who needs a wet to dry dressing change on an abdominal incision. The patient dressing is wet, so the dressing should have to change. So this also not the scope of practice of the UAP. This one only the specialized nursing knowledge, and so only the licensed nurse can do this one for the patient. The second question, a nurse is preparing a client schedule for a right mastectomy. Which statement indicates the need for further intervention? Here they are asking which statement the patient is telling the wrong. We have to clarify with the patient which statement need a further intervention. So number A is the client refuses to sign the blood consent since she is a Jehovah's Witness. So this is our incorrect option because that is correct statement. For the religious beliefs, a client may refuse to sign a blood consent due to religious belief prior to surgery. So this is the correct statement. So this is our incorrect option because we are finding the incorrect statement that we have to clarify with the patient, and the patient need more further interventions. Number B, the client identifies the right breast as a surgical site for a right mastectomy. So this is also incorrect option because that is correct statement. Here patient is right for the right breast. He signed the consent, identify the surgical site for a right mastectomy. So this is incorrect option. Number C, the client signs the consent with an X, which is witnessed by two licensed personnel. So this is also incorrect statement. Incorrect mean the option because that is correct statement. If the patient cannot sign, so the two licensed personnel should have to sign the consent. The number D, the client expressed doubt over her decisions and asked the nurse to explain more about the procedure. So this is our correct answer because that is incorrect statement. The client expressed doubt. So expressing doubt and asking further questions of the nurse to the nurse indicates that the client may not be fully informed and should confirm further with the healthcare provider. The nurse may clarify the facts. Nurse can clarify the facts, but it is the healthcare provider responsibility to give detailed information about the surgical procedure. The nurse is responsible for ensuring that the client has been adequately informed. That's why the nurse is signing the witness signature. So this is the healthcare, the main primary surgeon responsibility to inform the patient about the all procedure. This is not the scope of practice of the nurse. So the nurse can witness the surgeon or the primary doctor already inform everything about the procedure. So D is our correct answer. Question number 3. An external weather disaster has flooded the emergency department with several new clients. Which client should the nurse see first? Number A, the client complaining of chest pain and nausea who is diaphoretic. We will read the next options. The client with a simple fracture of radius from a fall on a staircase. Number C, the client complaining of slight redness and itching at the IV site in his hand. Number D, the client presenting with the sprained ankle from a tree branch falling on him. So we will see one by one. The A, the client complaining of chest pain and nausea who is diaphoretic. This patient is in the red zone. Anyhow, we will check the other options. The client with a simple fracture of a radius from a fall on a staircase. This patient no need to check first. The client complaining of slight redness and itching in the IV site in his hand. This patient also don't have the priority. So this patient can be delayed. Number D, the client presenting with the sprained ankle from a tree branch falling on him. This also not the priority. If we will see in the 4 option, the A is the priority. The client complaining of chest pain and nausea who is diaphoretic. Because the chest pain, nausea and diaphoresis indicates a possible myocardial infarction. So which can be life-threatening and require immediate intervention. So nurse first should assess the A patient, the client complaining of chest pain and nausea who is diaphoretic. Because the fractures and the sprains and the non-urgent can wait for treatment. Redness and itching at IV site indicate a need to assess the site and remove it and replace the IV line, but is not immediately life-threatening. So which is the right option? A. The client complaining of chest pain and nausea who is diaphoretic. That is our right option. Our 4th question is, a nurse is working with an unlicensed assistive personnel to perform a bed bath on a client. The nurse notes the smell of alcohol on the UAP's breath. Which is the priority nursing action? So during bath, the nurse noticed the alcohol smell coming from the unlicensed assistive personnel breath. So what is the priority action? Strategy word is priority. Number A, work closely with the UAP during the shift and observe for any signs of impairment. Number B, complete the bed bath without comment. The unit is already short one staff member. Number C, offer chewing gum to the UAP since she does not give medication. She can do her job as she does not appear impaired. Number D, call for another nurse to complete the bath and immediately report the UAP to the charge nurse or unit manager. So what is the priority option? What is the priority nursing action the nurse should have to do? So keep in your mind, the professional nurse works under the framework of 6 ethical principles. What's the 6? The non-maleficence emphasize protecting the clients for harm. In my previous videos, you can see I already give the lecture on the this one, the ethics of the nursing is very important. And client safety is always priority for us. And due to this reason, we have to check what is the priority nursing action for the nurse. So priority nursing action, if we will say A, work closely with the UAP during the shift and observe for any signs of impairment. That is incorrect, because I told you the client safety is always priority. If the alcohol smell is coming, it's mean the UAP already take the alcohol, and that is not good for the patient. So this is incorrect. For this one, we will not allow this UAP to stay with the patient. Number B, complete the bed bath without comment. The unit is already short one staff member. That is also incorrect. The patient safety is priority. Number C, offer chewing gum to the UAP since she does not have medication. she can do her job as she does not appear impaired. Even she is not appear impaired, we have to we will not allow the UAP to stay with the patient. So this is also incorrect. The D, call for another nurse to complete the bath and immediately report the UAP to the charge nurse or unit manager. Yes, this is our correct option, because another nurse may step in and complete the bath, ensuring that the client is not left alone with impaired personnel. So this is the main option, and the nurse also has an ethical and legal duty to report situations that may cause client danger. So that is the registered nurse is the responsibility to inform the charge nurse or unit manager. Question number 5. The nurse has received report on assigned night shifts clients. Which client should the nurse see first? So this is also prioritization. Number A, a mildly confused client due to a dressing change on a diabetic ulcer to the heel. So we will check the others option. Is not look like the priority, because mildly word use, mildly confused client due to for a dressing change on a diabetic ulcer to the heel. Number B, an elderly stable client who just returned from an MRI to rule out a kidney mass. So there they use the stable word, stable client. So this is also not look like priority. We will check the others option. A client whose IV pump has started beeping indicate that antibiotic has completed infusion. That is also not a priority option. The last option is a client complaining of sudden warmth and pain at an appendectomy incision site 48 hours after surgery. So if we will see, the D is the right option. That patient is the priority for the nurse to see this patient first. So why? Because the classical signs of localized infection include sudden warmth, redness, pain at the site, and the swelling caused by the inflammatory process. So this client should be assessed first due to the risk of infection following surgical procedure, because 48 hours before patient has the appendectomy. So the healthcare provider should be notified immediately, so the lab work can be ordered and appropriate course of treatment can be started. But the client needed a dressing change is not urgent as a client with infection. If we will check the others option, and the number B, the stable client returning from MRI is not the priority. In the number C, a client whose IV pump has started beeping, that is also not the priority, because the risk of infection and subsequent complications take priority over a beeping IV pump. Question number 6. A nurse is working tri-age in the emergency department when 4 clients present at the same time. Which client should be seen first? Number A, a 45-year-old female on oral on contraceptive with a usually heavy menstrual bleeding. So we will check the other options. Number B, a 24-year-old with a dog bite to the leg from the family dog who's current on rabies shot. Number C, an irritable 4-month-old with the petechial rash, natural rigidity and temperature of 103.4 Fahrenheit degree. A 16-year-old football player with a twisted ankle who has no deformity and a pedal pulse. So one by one, if we will check, our 45-year-old female on oral contraceptive with a usually heavy menstrual bleeding, this is not the priority, because due to contraceptive patient can have heavy menstrual bleeding, so this is not the priority patient. A 24-year-old with a dog bite to the leg from the family dog who's current on rabies shot, so he already received the rabies shot, so this is also not the priority option. He is not in the life threatening situation. A number C, an irritable 4-month-old with a petechial rash, natural rigidity and temperature of 103. These all signs symptoms are the signs of the meningitis, which is a medical emergency, especially in an infant. So this is the priority patient the nurse should have to check first. The number D, a 16-year-old football player with a twisted ankle who has no deformity, patient don't have any deformity and the pedal pulse. So a twisted ankle with a pedal pulse and no deformity is not life threatening and can be seen after more urgent client. So which is the priority option, which is the correct option? Number C, an irritable 4-month-old with petechial rash, neutral rigidity and the temperature of 103.4 Fahrenheit degree, because this is the signs of meningitis and that is the medical emergency. Question number 7. The nurse is caring for clients on a medical surgical floor. Which task related to pain management can be delegated to the unlicensed assistive personnel? Select all that apply. So we will choose more than one answer because it's select all that apply questions. So what we will what options we have to select mean which management can be delegated to pain management can be delegated to the unlicensed assistive personnel. So which task we will delegate to the UAP? Number A, assessing the pain level on a scale of 1 to 10. So assessment, or this is the incorrect answer because assessment only licensed nurse can do, not the unlicensed assistive personnel. So this is incorrect option. Number B, reminding clients to report pain immediately. Yes, this is our correct option because reminders unlicensed assistive personnel can give to the patient. Number C, reporting facial grimacing in unresponsive clients. Yes, this is also correct option because the facial grimacing may also the UAP can report to the nurse who can then assess the pain. Assessment of the pain only licensed nurse can do, but the reporting facial grimacing UAP can give. So C is also correct option. Number D, asking clients directly, are you having any pain right now? Yes, this is also correct option. The unlicensed assistive personnel can ask the patient for the pain. Number E, giving acetaminophen Tylenol after the nurse obtains the medication but is interrupted to attend a code blue before she administered it. So nurse is ready to give acetaminophen to the patient, but the code blue interrupted for another patient. So she run to other side, but still the unlicensed assistive personnel cannot administer medication. Another nurse from the unit can give according to the facility policies, but the unlicensed assistive personnel are not allowed. That task is not delegated to the UAP. So E is incorrect option. So our right options are B, C and D. Our 8th question is, a newly graduated nurse is working in the pediatric unit. Which client assignments is most appropriate for this nurse? So keep in your mind is newly graduated nurse. So number A, a 2-year-old with hemophilia A who has suddenly become less responsive. Number B, a 15-year-old with sickle cell disease complaining of lower right quadrant abdominal pain. Number C, a 6-year-old who has just tonsillectomy 2 hours earlier and is frequently swallowing. Number D, a 12-year-old with a newly diagnosed type 2 diabetes whose parents need teaching on insulin. So we will check one by one. Number A option, a 2-year-old with hemophilia A who has suddenly become less responsive. So this is the clotting factor, the clotting disorder and the decreased level of consciousness is an emergency situation. So due to the possible intracerebral bleeding is not appropriate for an inexperienced nurse because she's newly graduated. So this patient is not suitable for this nurse. So this task we will not delegate to the newly graduated nurse. So this is our incorrect option. Number B, a 15-year-old with sickle cell disease complaining of lower right quadrant abdominal pain. This option is look like correct, but we will check the others option. A 6-year-old who has just tonsillectomy 2 hours earlier and is frequently swallowing. This patient we cannot give to the inexperienced nurse, mean the newly graduated nurse, because the frequent swallowing mean the patient has bleeding. So this patient should be give to the experienced nurse. So this is our incorrect option. Number D, a 12-year-old with newly diagnosed type 2 diabetes whose parents need teaching on insulin. So the client teaching is an important and more advanced skill that takes time to develop. So newly graduated nurse cannot give full explanation on this. The insulin is a high alert drug, and incorrect information from the new nurse may cause harm to the client. So this teaching and the explanation about the insulin. Only the more experienced nurse can give to the patient. So D is also incorrect. So what is our correct option is a B. A 15-year-old with sickle cell disease complaining of lower right quadrant abdominal pain, because client with sickle cell disease commonly present with pain during a crisis. So a newly graduated nurse is qualified to assess the client's pain and administered ordered medications accordingly. So B is the correct option. Our ninth question is, the nurse is preparing to transfer a client from the ICU to the floor. Which of the following ensures continuity of care for the client? Select all that apply. So mean which statements is the right statements of the nurse who will give to the handling the receiving nurse. So which statements we have to tell to the receiving nurse? Number A, using approved abbreviation in documenting care. Yes, this is correct. We can use the facility approved abbreviations. Number B, providing report on the client using standard handoff reports. Yes, this is also correct options. We have to provide report to the on the client standard handover reports according to the facility. Number C, informing the receiving nurse of pending lab results and when they are expected. Yes, this is correct option. We should have to inform the receiving nurse about the pending all labs results, any radiology. So we have to inform the nurse, and we also inform when this is expected, mean what time of the what healthcare provider time give to do this lab results. Number D, informing the receiving nurse of any care that need to be done such as bathing. Yes, this is also correct option. Anything that is pending we should have to inform to the receiving nurse. Number E, telling the receiving nurse that the family is demanding and ask too many questions. So this is not the correct option, because the complaining about the family is unprofessional and takes the focus away from the client's needs. A smooth transition is essential to ensure that no orders are overlooked. So no need to complain about the family, because that is unprofessional. So E is our incorrect option. A, B, C, D is our right option. So our last question, the 10th question is, the client has been admitted to the oncology unit and has a large amount of cash, several credit cards and several pieces of expensive looking gold jewelry in her possession. Which action by the nurse is most appropriate? So the patient have many expensive things like amount of cash, credit card. So what action of the nurse is the most appropriate? Tell the client to hide everything in her purse or a bag and put it in the closet. No, this is not the correct option. That is incorrect. We have to do something according to policy. Number B, offer to take her belongings to the charge nurse office where they can be locked up. No, this is incorrect option. We cannot do like this. This is not allowed in the hospital. Number C, suggests that the client put her valuables in the sock and place it in the bottom of the bedside table under some clothing. No, this is also incorrect options. That is not allowed the nurse to do this one. Number D, inform the client of the hospital policy regarding valuables and suggest that she give them to the trusted family member or to security for safekeeping. Yes, this is the correct options, because we should have to call the security and the security will count everything, and there is a form according to the hospital policies. They have a valuable form. That security is writing on the paper the quantity and whatever he received, and they take the patient signature, and the one witness nurse should be there, so they are signing and they are keeping in the locker. And once the procedure will finish, or once the patient will discharge from the hospital, whenever they need, they can call the security and take it back. If they have the trusted family member, yes, they can give, but if no any family member is available, so they can call the security. The nurse should call the security and hand over the valuable according to the hospital policies. I hope you like my lecture. If you like, please share and subscribe, and don't forget to push the icon bell button so you can receive my coming videos notification. Thank you very much. Take care yourself and family. Allah Hafiz.